Hello, it's Paul and Sebastian here. We're in Valendar, the home of the original Schoenstatt, and we've come on a pilgrimage for this talk. Hi, this is Paul and Sebastian here, and we're in Schoenstatt, the home of Schoenstatt in Valendar, Germany, and we've come on a pilgrimage which we're going to talk about this week. There are many shrines here in Valendar, and as you can see, we're visiting one in a little while, which is called the Church of the Family, and it's one of the shrines of Schoenstatt. We'll take you there in a minute, and then we'll continue.
Hello, my name's Sebastian, and I'm going to take you to a shrine called the House of Family. It's one of the shrines here in Valendar. So this is the outside of the shrine. There's got rocks with the names of the families that's visited and where they're from. And then this is the inside of the shrine. So looks like a normal shrine, normal sunset shrine, but it's got a net, and it's a net of all the pictures of families and home shrines that I've visited. They've got lots and lots of photos, so they must change it every couple of weeks. And then this is the altar. The German writing here stands for Our Way. And yeah.
One of the things that we want to talk about this week is the theme of journeys. And when we stayed here a few years ago for some months as a family, our first experience was coming up this hill to the house of the family, which is a long way up this very steep road. And I don't know if the video portrays that, but the gradient is 18%. Just below us, down there, you can see the family shrine, which we'll visit. But our journey for the moment continues upwards. If you look up the hill through the tops of the trees, you can just about see a building. That's where we're going. As we continue our walk, we used to get to this point. It was like a turning or passing circle on the hill, and it leveled out, and I'd often stop here when hauling a suitcase or riding my bike, and you get round the corner and then realise the road continues and it looks even further up the hill, and eventually you get to the house of the family. And you may wonder why we've come here first, which I'll explain in a minute. But just through here, high up as we are, down in the valley, is the original shrine, which is slightly out of view now. But we'll go there next, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what's been happening. One thing, however, I thought I'd share with you would be something that used to be here a few years ago when we stayed, which is a shrine on wheels, which we'll expand on in a minute when we get to the original shrine. But I thought I'd just share that with you, because it's also quite beautiful to think about this. And finally, we're here at the original Schoenstatt shrine, and we will talk about that in a moment. We just show you this place where we finished, and here's the shrine here in Valendar, Germany, overlooked by the magnificent Bundesheim on the hill.
A journey is about learning. When you go on a journey, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to have bumps, it's going to have wrong turns, it's going to have all sorts of things that will go wrong. But that's part of the journey. It's about learning and the knowledge you gain from it and how you can put it in to the future so you won't make those mistakes again.
So we've been talking about a theme and shown you other places that have been important to us in our life, as we came here to original Schoenstatt, and we just finished at the shrine. And one of the things I wanted to explain was that for us, it's really part of a journey, that pilgrimage is not necessarily the place that you finish up at, but rather the process of getting there. It's about how you get there, what state you're in, whether you get there in a good state or a bad state, whether you get there prayerfully and with hope, or in a rush and with stress. And I trust and I hope that when you make journeys, we can try and make them more prayerfully, because when we arrive at the place we're going, then we are more calm and ready for what we have to do. And yet in that busyness, it's easy to forget that sense of serenity and purpose for what we do and why we do it. And this, in a sense, is what Our Lady brings to us. I want to focus on how Our Lady helps us in that journey, that we travel not alone. We don't have to face these problems by ourselves. You saw that we walked up a great big hill at the beginning of this video, and for me it was easier because I had Sebastian next to me. But we also have Our Lady there, ready to inspire us, and this is, in a sense, perhaps part of the theme of Jubilee, this Jubilee year, but also something that's constant, that we often think that we have to do things because of artificial reasons, because of things we've promised ourselves, or because of our own busy lives. Take two. It's hard to film holding a camera out at arm's length in a beautiful place. I wanted to say that Our Lady is someone who accompanies us on the way and helps us to keep that focus, so that we're not just trying to accommodate busy things ever more efficiently into our life as modern society dictates, but rather we're thinking, what are we doing and why are we doing it, and how do we get the most out of it? This is, in a sense, bringing a whole range of things together, from our spiritual daily order, from our sense of striving, from the theme of hope for this Jubilee, and trying to unify them through some focus, like the covenant of love that we made. And I suppose that coming back to our mother gives us maybe more than just words, but rather something we can really concentrate on. On this trip, we also went to Rome, and we walked through the Holy Door, and we saw that it's not just a case of going up to a door, knocking and walking through. There's a lot of thought that's gone into it. You have to book, you process along a long path, carrying a cross right up to the door, and unless you make that journey, you don't actually get to walk through it. It's not so much the act of going through a door, interesting as that may be for some, where you can tick it off, but rather it's about what state you're in, your mind, whether it's focused, whether it's concentrated, what's your yearning like. And that's really what we wanted to share with you. So we saw the long hill, the places where we stayed, which we wanted to share with you. And sometimes that journey seems very difficult, traumatic. It doesn't give you a break. The hill just seems to go on forever. But then you get a clearing in the woods, and then you see something, but only if you want to see it. Something that's beautiful in its own way, whether it's a Schoenstatt shrine on wheels, a place that you used to know very well because you stayed there some years ago, whether it's a beautiful view across the valley. It's about stopping and having hope in that journey so that we can come out as better people on the other side.